Nika True here. So today we're going to look at a really cool used laptop, and it's a ThinkPad T61. In this case it's a T61P. Got this one off eBay for like 50 bucks, and this is one hell of a great used laptop. Believe it or not, this laptop is now more than 10 years old, and it still performs really nice. So thanks to IBM, the hinges, are really solid, and they never start like breaking or whatever. Really nice. It's not the lightest laptop, but if you're a computer guy, you might not get that much exercise, and lugging a little bit of a heavier device around won't hurt. And also this thing, the great thing is that the build quality is amazing. So, this lasts, and it also doesn't have any performance restrictions. So many new laptops nowadays have a thing where, they don't have adequate cooling because they have to be super thin. There seems to be some kind of competition on the thinner, eventually you're not going to be able to see them anymore because they're so thin, or you might cut yourself. And so they clock down. So basically the CPU runs, or the GPU runs, and it gets too hot, and then the thing has to clock down. So you're basically not getting the whole performance that you're buying because the thing doesn't have adequate cooling. So this one has adequate cooling. Really nice fan. You actually never hear the fan, and there's a difference between a cheap shitty laptop and, in case of this one, an expensive business laptop. And I guess in some disciplines this thing can still beat the shoes off a new laptop. Probably not in performance, but in other things. And of course for 50 bucks, it's like a amazing thing. So this thing has, believe it or not, has a what was it, like 1900 by 1200 display. So this is even higher than HD, and this was 10 years ago. Guess that. That's crazy. And so I'm still kind of amazed at what shitty low resolutions you can get with these kinds of laptops. Also, something I love is a battery that you can remove and replace. So I've had a few of these laptops over the years, and the batteries tend to die, but you can buy them. They're really cheap. They're like 20 bucks, 30 bucks, something like that. And this one is huge. It's a huge battery. The laptop kind of runs a little inefficient, because it's so old, but it has a dual core, 2.4 gigahertz, and it even has a VDR graphic card that has only 128 megs at this point. Totally useless. And I recommend getting the Intel version because if you want to use a modern operating system, which will limit you to Linux because Windows 10 will not run on this machine anymore, then you might have some trouble with the NVIDIA chipset because the drivers are kind of crap, unfortunately. So I also have to mention that I got this one really cheap because it doesn't have a hard disk. Of course, hard disks are easy to come by, and I have a special setup anyway. So this laptop is really great insofar that it has a what they call an ultra slot or ultra port or something like this. So you can just open it up here. And so this is the DVD-ROM, which I don't have much use for anymore. Kind of a legacy old technology. So you can get a mechanical hard drive, in this case a 500 gigabyte, and pop this in here. Yep, need an extra hand. Bang. And then you take this thing and you just slot that in here. That's it. Why is that important? Well, the thing is, SSDs are pretty expensive, so if you want a lot of storage, you will shell out quite a lot of money. But the small SSDs are pretty cheap. So what the best thing to do right now is to get both, get an SSD for the OS and then get a mechanical hard drive for the, you know, where you need a lot of space. So you have both. You have the best of both worlds. Really nice. And I have to say, you know, for this laptop, this is has a SATA interface again, you know, ahead of the competition 10 years ago. And let me put this in here. So on Linux, the boot times are ridiculously fast. It's like the laptop feels 10 times faster. It's amazing. And it's really cool. You can get all the nice new features if you're using Linux for free. So I'm using a Debian, and I even have full hard disk encryption, which is really nice. And that's all features that in Windows you'll have to pay extra for. But of course, as I said, you know, I don't think you will be able to run Windows 10 on this machine anymore just because of the CPUs, because they will limit you. And there's some shenanigans going on that sometimes they won't even want to support CPUs, the newest CPUs on Windows 7, for example, you know, which is just ridiculous because there's no technological reason for that. It's just they just want to push you to the newest OS, or basically sell you a new upgrade. And then the battery, you can just click in here, sticks out a little. Yeah, I guess it's not beautiful, but you know, I would think this is a tool, and I always thought it a silly notion that I would have a hammer that is pretty, you know, or has like diamonds on it, or is styled, and then tell somebody or pretend, you know, that this will work better because it's pretty. So now the thing is booted up, and I have to say I'm amazed at this display. This is really beautiful. And look how small everything is. I probably have to adjust the DPIs. It's just incredible. Like back then, you know, probably among the best, if not the best displays. The only thing that's not ideal is this doesn't have LED backlighting, so it's kind of dim. And yeah, I wish there was a kit that you can get to retrofit them. Another thing that's super cool is that the keyboard, amazing, really great, and I can immediately tell from the sound, you know, that this display, this keyboard has been used a lot less than the one I have in the one I just replaced. Cool thing, of course, is, you know, you can swap parts back and forth. And I had one that I bought 10 years ago, and now I figure, well, I might as well have several and then just kind of, you know, get the best parts from each one. And yeah, this is a really great keyboard to write on. Also, one thing that I love is the track point. Works for me a lot better than this one, but, you know, you can choose which one you like. And this one for me is just more precise. This one, I always felt this one was the more professional one than this one. This is kind of like a more consumer grade version. And another great thing is, by specs, you can upgrade this laptop to 4 gigabytes. Actually, you can upgrade it to 8 gigabytes. So this one has 8 gigabytes, which makes it usable for pretty much everything. The only thing that's a little slow, obviously, is the CPU, because you only have a dual core, 2.4 gigahertz, and it's also an old architecture, but you know, to work, it still does great service. And yeah, the screen is great because you can get a lot of real estate on here. Like, I mean, you have a lot of space on your screen, a lot of resolution. So here you see the display in a web browser, and I could actually turn down the resolution. I could zoom up 50% and I still see everything very crisp and nice, because yeah, the resolution is so high. And yeah, it's kind of crazy. I'm not getting why a lot of laptops still seem to be stuck on Full HD. like Full HD was a standard. I've been amazed for that for many years, and yeah, this laptop 10 years ago beat Full HD. So the P series I think also was a lot more expensive, obviously, for this. I think it stands for performance or whatever. But, well, works really nice. And of course nowadays you don't have to bother or worry about the price anymore. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. All in all, a really cool laptop, and I can only warmly recommend it.